Good morning, coders. Today is my 1 month YouTube anniversary. It's been a pleasure to be here with you all. Hope you've been enjoying the content. I'm hoping to drop a special Minecraft episode today after school. So if you're around, let's try and play some Minecraft today to celebrate the 1 month special. Continuing with my homie, the Nomi, we are now able to keep walking on a bottom platform, so there's ground everywhere. Next steps, I think, are to add like a collectible coin and then figure out how to make a bunch of platforms. I'm going to do the platforming part first. So how do we add more than just 2 platforms? And how do we space them out in a way that makes our game fun and playable? That is the question. So let's try and figure that out. So right now we just have 2 platforms and we set them at these 2 locations. So we could one by one add more platforms. That is gonna get kind of repetitive, and it's definitely the simplest way. If you just want to copy and paste and then just keep changing the numbers, you could use the camera to zoom out. Maybe I'll add 2 more platforms that way just so we can see. So we're going to zoom out a little. Let's put it at 0.3 so we can see all the platforms. Control C, Control V. Platform 3. Platform 3. Platform 4. Platform 4. And then we need platform 3. X coordinate maybe will be another 180, so 580 plus 180 is 760, and I'll put it back, at the 280 Y coordinate. And then this one, let's just put it also at 280, but we'll put it, or maybe a little higher. Let's put it at 200. It has to be 280 so we can jump on it. And then I'll put it over at 1,000. Alright, so now we hit run. And forgot to update the movement code. So we go down to controls. And then remember right here we have every sprite in our game, when we hit the directional pad, will have to move. So let's go ahead. That'll move it to the right. Have to move it to the left also. There we go. So now we have some more platforms. There's no ground detection code on them. So you can see it, like how going through this, you have to do like a lot of steps for each platform, and it'd be nice if there was a way to do all of those steps at the same time. And that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna make a for loop for all this code instead. So where is the other platform code? If gnome is touching platform 1, platform 2, there you go. We need one for platform 3, and we need one for 2. Sometimes pasting in block mode is really annoying, so if you go to text mode, it's a lot easier. Platform 4. Alright, there we go. So now we have a semi-decent thing. We can jump around, avoid the flies. I need a way to duck. Or else my bullet has to come from a different spot, because I got wrecked by that fly. Alright, but point being, we have 4 platforms, and if we have to do that for every platform, our code is, like, how many platforms are we going to have in this game? Probably a lot, and at some point, this code is just going to get unmaintainable, unreadable. There'll be a block of platform code like that big, and we're going to get tired of it. So we're going to use the same thing we did for multiple flowers, is this kind of sprite. And I'm going to leave the camera zoomed out so we can see a little more at the same time. maybe just half. Okay, so we can kind of see the pattern in the numbers already. In the x coordinate, we add 180-ish every time, and in the y coordinate, we either go at 280 or 180, because 280 is like the lower level we can jump to, and 180 is like a second higher level that we can jump to. We could go up into the sky even higher, but for now we're just going to use those two numbers and spacing them about 180. So maybe sometimes we'll double it. We'll put some randomness into the generation. So we're going to try to create a procedure to procedurally generate the platforms in our world. So first things first is we're going to create a group called platform equals create group. And so now we have a platform group, and then instead of creating each sprite one by one, I'm going to put a for loop that, I don't know, start with 100 platforms. Var I equals 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. So that's going to create, it's going to loop through this for 100 times. So I equals 1. Is 0 less than 100? True. So then we run this code, and then it adds 1. Now it says, is 1 less than 100? True. So let's run this code. Then let's add 1. Is 2 less than 100? You get the point. It goes all the way up to 99, adds 1, and then it says, is 100 less than 100? No. And then it'll finally go to the code underneath it. So we're going to put this into here, and I'm going to call this just temp platform at the moment, because it's just a temporary variable that's only accessible in the platform or in the for loop. So there's something called scope. The scope of a variable is where you can access it. So something inside of a for loop here, you won't be able to access down here. If I try to say temp platform equals 100, you can see it says blank hasn't been declared yet. Normally we'll get an error. We can just try and run it. Yep, that's where the error comes. So scope of a variable. If you wanted to access temp platform outside of the for loop, you'd have to declare it above it and then access it. But anyway, we only need it inside of the for loop, so we're just going to leave it like that for now. And there's other errors because I got rid of platform 1. But we'll fix those momentarily. So now we need to, so 400 is good, but then we want to space these out. So we're going to do plus I times 180, because we wanted them, it was 400 and then 580. So that's going to create a platform every 180 pixels. But I don't quite want it to be every 180. Well, maybe I do for now. And then 280. So the pattern, like if it just goes like that over and over, like it's going to be kind of boring. So we want some way to like randomize it, but we also want some way where like groups of platforms appear, so I can jump from here like up one and then up another one. Because if there's just one high in the sky without a lower one to get to, then you're kind of in a bad place. So this is where like a level builder could come in handy, if you can just drag and drop pieces places. That might be something cool to do, like Mario Maker. But for now, we'll start with this and then we'll iterate. We'll make it better over time. Okay, so now I have 280 here, and I want this to be 180 or 280. So I'm gonna just create a random number, a variable. So I'm gonna call it var x equals height. And it's just going to be a random number between 1 and 2. And then all we'll do is, so 180 or 280 are the two choices. So we're going to do 180 plus, plus 100, or plus, 100 times the height. And then this is actually going to go between 0 and 1. Alright, now I can ditch all these other platforms. final step is I have to add the sprite to the group. Platform.add temp platform. Alright, so now this temp platform creates one, goes through the loop, creates another one, and they all get stored into this platform group, which is accessible outside of the for loop because of the scope of this variable. It's not inside of this indentation of the for loop. That's why it has this blue block here. These variables are only accessible inside of this for loop. For now, think of it that way. Sometimes you can access it later, but the next step now is to change our other code that we just did so here now instead of gnome is touching platform 1 and gnome velocity, we're just going to change this to say if the group, if any platform is touching the gnome and the velocity, then we do that. So that should now is touching touch checks every sprite in the group. So we can delete all the extra platform code. That platform should cover everything. And they just do a for loop inside of this is touching group is touching target. It just loops through every sprite in the group and checks if each individual one is touching. So slightly inefficient code, but that's okay. We're making progress. And then the last step is gonna be to change the platform here so that each platform is being X. So can I change each X coordinate at the same time? We could try to use set velocity X each, but I'm just going to use a for loop because it's just a little more straightforward for what I want to do. So control for loop I less than 100. We do another var temp platform equals platform.get I. So get I gets access to each individual temporary platform, and then I just put this code in for temp platform instead now. And it's the same thing as doing every single, so no, before we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we just have a temporary platform that does everything for us. So, and I'm gonna copy that. And down here, paste it, fix my indentation so my code stays readable. And delete that. To a minus. And why is it mad? I is already defined. So we have two different I's. I think it'll be okay. Alright, so look at that. Now we have a bunch of platforms spaced out, and they randomly appear between our top position and our bottom position. So the game will be a little different every time we play. Let's zoom back out and see what it looks like. So not bad. Now we have like 100 platforms that appear throughout our game. It can be a little annoying, and we have this teleporting bug, but it's better. It's better. So now I think like we should make it so instead of like every slot always having a platform, we can make it so this one won't be there sometimes randomly, or this other one won't be there sometimes randomly. Something like that. But now we have a bunch of platforms. Next thing I think is like some kind of collectible item so that we have a reason to jump on these platforms. Like Mario has coins. What do gnomes have? I don't know. Drop a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe. And like I said, it's my 1 month YouTube anniversary. So after school today, let's try and play some Minecraft. I will see you all shortly. Have a great Thursday. Nice, easy, short week today, this week. So.